friends. We started a new series called Expert Talk. Every week we talk with experts in different fields, and we're gonna post those videos in our YouTube channel, Try T Technologies. And today, as a first interview, we're gonna talk with iOS, Android expert, and mobile developer. His name is Shiva Inturi. He has a hands-on experience about 10 years in the mobile development.
Yeah, thanks, Ram. Hey guys, this is Shiva. As Ram said, like I'm into mobile development from last 10 years. I worked across from startups to the big companies. And I worked like I developed an application for iOS as well as mobile, Android platform. And also like we develop SDK. So SDK's development is different from mobile application. It's very complex. And right now the SDKs that we develop are like used by many big companies like CNN Discovery across the world. And at any point of time, 40 million users are like using our SDKs, which is like a very good thing. My applications ranging from hundreds of users to hundreds of thousands of users are using it. So there, like real challenge comes when big number goes. So that's my background.
Yeah, thanks, Shiva. Just to for a fresher in a layman terms, like what is mobile development, and who are the big players in mobile development?
Yeah, mobile developments like you guys already know about it, like iOS and iPhones. You might have it, or Android phones that you guys are having it, right? So whatever the application that you use, example is WhatsApp application, right? So when we call it as a WhatsApp and as an application which runs on an operating system, specific operating system like iOS or Android. So the big players are like, as you guys must already know, like iOS and Android has the majority of the share. Windows, of course, is a third thing, but it has like less than 1% of the share in the market. So the market share wise, like Android has more than 70%, but iOS comes around like 20-25 maybe, but more than 70 is like Android. A big thing, and Windows has a third one. But previously there were like Nokia and all of that, Symbiosis OS as a separate thing, but all are gone now. So there are only two big players now, Android and iOS.
Yeah. So as a fresher coming out from college, if I want to get into mobile development, like what kind of courses I have to do, or like what kind of courses I have to do, and what kind of prerequisites I should have, like what kind of languages I should know before going to application development, mobile development.
Right. So like once you are out of college, right, like if you are like interested, like you decided that you want to become a mobile developer at some point of time, then a starting point I can suggest is if you are already familiar with one of the C or C++ languages, then you can always start with iOS. Or if you are familiar with the Java language, which you already know or you're more interested, then you can start with Android. Coming to the courses and where to start, my suggestion is, if you decided that, okay, I want to be like an iOS developer, like I want to start with an iOS, right? Then Apple, like iOS is, you guys must have known like already, Apple is the company that develops iPhones, and the operating system is called iOS. So the Apple itself provides, Apple has a good developer portal. It's very developer friendly, where you can get a lot of material. Like once you go to the developer.apple.com, you subscribe yourself, and then you have access to the IDE, and the languages which they use are like Swift and Objective-C, which is like a little older. You have access to those languages and a number of tutorials, like hundreds of tutorials are available, where you can just download and then start running using an IDE called Xcode. So IDE is like you guys might have known if you are already developed C++, which is like a Turbo C kind of thing. If you are like familiar with Java, which is kind of a NetBeans or similar kind of thing, right? So Xcode is a similar IDE for developing iOS applications, and Android Studio is another similar IDE for developing Android applications. So my suggestion is start with that.
So based on what we said, it seems like there's only two different two strategies to go to, like two different paths. One is iOS and one is Android. Like how do which one how do I know which one should I take? What do you think? Like which one is better, and what should I know? What should I should have to go into that each of this different paths?
Yeah, as I said, the main thing is a language which we use to develop the application. So the two platforms have chosen to have given two different languages. For iOS, we have a Swift and Objective-C. Objective-C is kind of a extension to the C, as it says, like Objective-C, right? So if you already know or familiar with C and pointers concept, and you are very much interested in developing the applications using those things, my suggestion is to start with iOS. But if you are already familiar with Java, where it's user friendly and less, obviously pointers concepts are tough for some of them. So if you are afraid of those pointer concepts and all of that, but if you are familiar with Java and you yourself felt Java is much easier than C++, then you can start with Android. So for Android, core Java is a basic thing, which if you know it, then you can just straight away start using it. We don't require an advanced Java, all of that, but you can start with the core Android platform.
Okay, thank you. And say today I want to start developing these applications. What is my go-to place? Where should I how do I get a software, and where what kind of system I need to develop an application?
Right. If you are decided that you wanna be like an iOS developer, or you wanna start with iOS, then you must have it like a Mac system where the Xcode, as I told, the IDE, right? So the Xcode is IDE, where it if in order to install that and run it on your machine. Some people will hack it to download it on Windows systems, but I don't recommend that, because of you will go into kind of whether it's actually a real problem or Windows system compatibility problem, all of that. So my suggestion is to use the Mac system if you are planning for iOS. Any Mac system works. It doesn't have to be a super computer. Configuration might be a less configuration also, but it's better to have the Mac system. Once you have the Mac system, as I said, you just go and download the Xcode, where you have plenty of tutorials and given by Apple itself. Those are very good tutorials. As I can say, as a starting point, I recommend you to start with that, and just start running your application on simulator. So simulator is the one. So there are two things. Once you develop your applications, where you can see the application, right? So let's say Apple has given some tutorial application where you want to run and see how it's going to be. Then simulator is kind of an emulation where you can run and see this application running at on simulator. There are some things which you cannot do in the simulator, but real device is required for them. Example is you cannot record a video using a simulator, right? Obviously you need a real phone for that. But there are things which you can simulate, like a location and other thing, which you once started exploring and learning more, you can do that. Similarly, for the Android platform, you have an Android Studio, and similarly, developer portal is there for the Google as well. And then you can go and then start downloading the Android Studio. Then, yeah, there are also plenty of examples which you can download and start running them on a real device. That's one advantage that you have. So coming to the Android, what you need is a Windows system, any Windows system. And you have to subscribe to the developer portal. There you can get Android Studio, and then once you install the Android Studio, you can straight away run it on your actual device. Coming to the iOS, you need a Mac system, and you need to subscribe, and then you need to download an Xcode, install it. You can run it only on simulator until you take a membership, which is $99 developer program or developer membership, which we call it as. Once you take it, you are allowed to run it on a dual device, but until then, you can run it on a simulator for iOS platforms.
Okay, that's very clear. So, how is the job market how is the job market? Like I'm a fresher, like I'm coming from different technologies. As your experience, you have a lot of experience in this field. Like, how is the job market? Do I get in easily, or like what I have to do?
I mean, mobile field is always like last 10 years, which I'm saying, which is like a hot market, which is like in competence with the other hot markets, which are like cloud and obviously like machine learning and other things are like coping up, but those are not like entered into the mobile segment as of now, but soon they will also come into the mobile platform. As in like recently, like 2 years back, Apple also released a framework called related to the machine learning. So mobile is like always like a hot field, whatever the technology, whether it's a cloud or whether it's a machine learning or data science. I think anything comes from the data. So mobile is the one that like mostly used by most of the users, right? So any application that we develop for website must be there in the mobile also. So last 10 years, it's a hot market, and I see like next 10 or 15 years also, it's going to be a hot market. But once you are out of the college, if you have to be like a number one, or if you have to get the job easily, you have to familiarize with deeper concepts of what is iOS and what is Android. Not just like maybe like some outside people will tell that, okay, this is what the course is going to be, but just don't trust them, or don't stop there itself. Like they might say, okay, this is the one, like button, label, table view, etc., some UI components and maybe something else, but don't stop there. If you want to like get the job, dig deeper into it, learning it. As I said, like go to the developer portal, find the things there, you will get like yourself as a familiarized one. But mobile, it's going to be a hot market, as I know, like next 10 or 15 years.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Shiva. Thanks for your expert views into development. Guys, next week we're going to come up with another expert talk with the expert in another field. Meanwhile, if you have any questions on this mobile development, post in the comments, and we try to reply each one of them. And if you like this kind of videos, like it and subscribe it. And as you know, there's a bell button. You can click on that so that you can be notified whenever we have a new video on expert talk. And until then, thanks a lot. Thanks for staying with us. And we would like to give more expert views on this different fields, so that you will have a good understanding and whatever the field you're interested in. And meanwhile, check our Tree Technologies YouTube channel, and there we have a lot of videos, a lot of different technology videos. It might be helpful for you. And thanks a lot.